If you think repeating the phrase, "I'm sorry," or buying gifts is making up for your mistake, you're just insulting your partner's intelligence. This video isn't for those looking for cowardly shortcuts. So if you can't take responsibility for the mess you've made, don't waste your time here. In this section, I'm going to expose a truth that will shake you. A clumsy apology is 1,000 times worse than the mistake itself. I've experienced with all my being how, when I apologized without reason just out of fear of loneliness or to end a fight, I was actually proving to my partner that I am a weak man with no principles. I learned that the art of apology isn't about begging for forgiveness. It's about the authoritative restoration of damaged trust. If you don't know how to take responsibility for your actions without crushing your self-esteem, your partner will never look at you as a reliable man again. You're about to learn how to practice alchemy with words and extract more authority from the heart of a crisis. Step into the unseen. Welcome to the ultimate masterclass in decoding the female mind. The psychology of remorse and the collapse of the false ego. Why formal apologies make a relationship more toxic. Hello, dear followers. Today, in the 10th station of our second season, we are going to talk about a skill that determines the boundary between a lasting relationship and a bitter separation. The art of apologizing. We all make mistakes in our relationships. We say things we shouldn't, or we perform actions that damage our partner's psychological security. But the disaster begins when men assume that a magical sentence like, "I'm sorry, okay?" or "I apologized, what else do you want?" can repair all that destruction. In analytical psychology, these types of apologies are not only non-healing, but act like pouring salt on an open wound. We want to understand what a sincere apology consists of from a woman's perspective. Let's look at this through the lens of the neuroscience of emotion. When a woman is hurt by the man in her life, the amygdala in her brain, the threat processing center, becomes hyperactive. At this moment, she is in a fight or flight mode. A formal, superficial apology sends a message to her brain that, "Your pain doesn't matter to me, and I just want to end this conversation." However, what a woman needs in the depths of her heart is pain validation. She wants to see if you have truly understood the magnitude of the damage you've caused. For a woman, an apology without understanding the depth of the tragedy is a renewed insult to her intelligence. In February 2026, where the complexities of modern life and the pressures of momentary fluctuations in the gold, coin, and currency markets have frayed everyone's nerves, even the smallest behavioral mistake can trigger a major crisis. My psychological critique of most men is that they view an apology as a loss of face or a collapse of authority. In the world of intelligent relationships, a real apology indicates psychological authority and emotional maturity. A man who is afraid to say, "I was wrong," is actually still stuck in his childhood. A true apology must involve the unconditional acceptance of responsibility. We often poison our apologies with the toxic word "but." For example, "I'm sorry I yelled, but you made me angry." This "but" destroys the entire value of the apology because you are blaming the victim. Women are extremely sensitive to these toxic apologies. They want you to say, "I was wrong to yell. I have no excuse for my behavior, and I understand how much this scared and hurt you." In the previous part, we said that unconditional responsibility is the first pillar of a principled apology. Now, we enter the stage where most men fail: emotional restitution. Many men imagine that as soon as they say, "I'm sorry," everything should return to normal, and if the woman remains sad or cold, they accuse her of dragging it out. But from a psychological analysis perspective, when you damage a relationship, you have created an emotional debt. You cannot refill the empty bank account of trust with a dry, empty apology. Restitution in the feminine world means restoring the balance of power and respect. When you make a mistake, the woman feels worthless and insecure. Physiologically, cortisol levels, the stress hormone, rise in her body, and to lower this level, she needs practical proof of value. My critique of traditional behavioral patterns is that men try to cover up their mistakes by buying material gifts, such as a piece of gold or jewelry. While gift-giving has its place in lifestyle culture, in 2026, women know very well that a gift should not become hush money. Real restitution is a psychological act, not necessarily an economic one. For real restitution, you must ask yourself, what did my behavior take away from her? If your behavior embarrassed her in public, restitution means offering her special praise in the same or a similar setting. If your lie caused a loss of trust, restitution means granting more access to your private sphere, such as your phone password or details of financial transactions related to gold and forex, until she feels secure again. In the world of technology and data security, when a server is compromised, the technical team doesn't just say, "We're sorry." They activate backups and patch the holes. You must play the role of that senior engineer in the relationship. One of the key parts of restitution is active listening. She needs to talk about the pain she felt for a while. The strategic mistake of men is saying, "You've said it 100 times. I apologized. What else?" What she wants is the complete discharge of emotional burden. She wants to see if you have the strength to witness the suffering you caused. By listening patiently without getting defensive, you are paying the psychological cost of your mistake. We have moved past the stage of accepting responsibility and discussed emotional restitution, but now we have reached the peak of the apology, where a man's true caliber is determined behavioral modification. From a psychological analysis perspective, an apology without a change in behavior is actually a form of gaslighting. When you apologize for a recurring mistake but repeat the same behavior the following week, the message you send to a woman's subconscious is, "I will say any lie to calm you in the moment, but in reality, I have no respect for your boundaries." This is where trust completely collapses, and the relationship enters a phase of emotional numbness. Let's examine this through the lens of neurofeedback. The human brain operates based on patterns and predictions. When you make a mistake, the woman's brain's prediction for the future of the relationship becomes negative. The only thing that can rewrite this neural circuit of insecurity is the constant observation of change. Change should not be sudden and explosive. It must be consistent and gradual. In the world of technology and data security, when software has a bug, the development team doesn't just issue a statement, they release a correction update. In a relationship, you must provide the updated version of yourself. If your problem was a harsh tone, change means practicing silence in moments of anger. If the problem was financial secrecy in gold and currency transactions, change means voluntary transparency before she even asks. My psychological critique of many male clients is that they want to erase the entire past with a single grand gesture. But real change requires introspection. You must ask yourself, why do I repeat this behavior? Where are the roots of this anger or this lie hidden in my childhood? Women are deeply influenced by a man who, to improve the relationship, seeks personal therapy or awareness and study. When your partner sees you reading a book on emotional intelligence or consciously responding differently in a moment of crisis, she feels that her broken pride is being repaired. This means you have sacrificed the comfort of your ugly habits for her and for the survival of this love. In 2026, where the speed of global changes and the pressures of artificial intelligence push us toward superficiality, staying deep is a virtue. You must ensure your words have weight, just like a stable currency in a volatile market. The Golden Protocol of Return, architecting peace in the turmoil of the 21st century. We have reached the final station of this deep deconstruction. We now know that a sincere apology is a process, not a word, but now we must penetrate the final layer: the sustainability of peace. From a systems psychology perspective, a relationship is like a living organism that needs a period of active recovery after any trauma. The fatal mistake men make at this stage is expecting everything to immediately return to the romantic previous state. You must understand that forgiveness is not a button, it is a chemical process in the brain that takes time. In the complex world of 2026, where we are constantly under stress from analyzing economic charts, dollar, gold, and coin prices, and the endless competitions of the technology world, humans' psychological capacity to endure domestic tension has significantly decreased. Therefore, an incomplete apology can disrupt a woman's entire nervous system for a long time. My psychological critique of modern lifestyles is that we want to solve everything like a software update, but the human heart is hardware made of flesh and bone that doesn't repair with a simple command code. Strategic Action Plan and the Golden Protocol for Recording. Defenseless Listening Technique. When you step forward to apologize, just listen for 10 minutes. Even if she says something that seems unfair, do not interrupt. In psychology, this gives the partner a sense of absolute security. Her voice must be heard in your ear, not hit your defensive wall. Consistency in small details. Forget grand changes. Focus on the small things. If you made a promise you apologized for, fulfill it for 21 consecutive days without a single error. A woman's brain needs the successful repetition of new patterns to believe you again. Proactive transparency. In today's world, where financial or communicative secrecy is easier due to tech tools, you must report voluntarily after a mistake. This shows you value regaining her trust and don't want to put her in a state of investigative anxiety. A real man is not one who never makes a mistake, but one who, when he does, is big enough to accept responsibility and strong enough to sacrifice his false ego to heal the heart of his beloved. In episode 19, we will dive into the vital topic of managing financial crisis in a relationship, where we learn how the price of the dollar should not determine the price of our love.